What's going on, guys? Brandon Havrilla from RedMax Entertainment. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new around here, make sure you guys subscribe so you get updated every time I post a new video. Welcome to video 2 of my iPad photo booth series, where I'm going to show you everything from buying and setting up your photo booth to successfully running your photo booth business. In this video, I'm going to focus on what you actually need to buy to get started with iPad photo booths. Now, every specific product that I mentioned throughout this video is going to be linked down in the description below, so make sure you guys read through the description and check out all those cool products. Now, I do want to let you know there are plenty of other products, both good and bad, out there that are not mentioned in this video. Just for time's sake, I want to keep these videos short, and I'm just mentioning some of the top name brands that I've heard or products that I use myself. So let's get right into it. The first item you are going to need for an iPad photo booth, if you have not figured it out already, is the iPad itself. Now, when you just type into Google that you are searching for an iPad, there are going to be lots of different results, and it can be quite overwhelming. The few things you're going to want to look for is the camera quality. Now, the newest iPad Pros do have the best camera quality out of all the previous iPads. So I recommend going with an iPad Pro, and of course, the larger the screen size, sometimes the better, because it is easier for guests to see and interact with the photo booth. It's also easier to compete with some of those larger DSLR photo booths. So you're going to want an iPad Pro 12.9 inch. The next spec you're going to want to pay attention to is the storage. Now, there is several different options as far as iPad storage, and that depends on the app you're going to use. I recommend you look into photo booth softwares and apps first, because some of them require that the photos are saved directly to the iPad, in which case you're going to want a lot of storage. However, some photo booth softwares, like the one I run, which is called SnapPic, actually saves to the cloud, so I don't need any storage space on my iPad except for the app itself. Now, the second item you are going to need for your photo booth is some sort of shell or holder or stand for the iPad. Now, there are many different shells and stands out there, from fully constructed photo booth shells that were designed for this, to even just a camera tripod with some sort of iPad clip that you could probably buy off Amazon at a very low cost. You're going to want to search and find one that fits your needs the best. The one I recommend is the Mobibooth Aura. I love the look of it. It's a ring light photo booth, so it's got a ring of LEDs around the iPad enclosure itself. It can also come with a mirror faceplate, which gives it a really nice look. Once again, I will have links to all this stuff down in the description below, so you can go check out that Mobibooth and everything else I mentioned down below. Now that you've got your iPad and the stand to hold your iPad, you're going to need some kind of software. The software I use and strongly recommend is SnapPic. You can visit their website at getsnappic.com. Again, that will be down in the description, but I encourage you to check it out. Visit the pricing. You can see the different pricing layouts and different ways you can purchase the software. Now, there are many other softwares out there like Curator and Mobibooth, iPic, Simple Booth, and many others that I encourage you guys to browse, shop around, and see what will work best for you. After you've got your software, you're going to want to look into a printer if printing is something you want to offer. Some people want their photo booths just for a social booth, meaning no prints at all, just texting and emailing, which in that case you can totally disregard purchasing a printer. But if prints is something you want to offer and you're trying to offer that full photo booth experience but with an iPad, you're going to want to look for a printer. I recommend going with a professional photography printer. One of these is going to be dye sublimation, meaning it is dry to the touch when it prints, and it's also going to print very fast. At just some of them, just around 8 seconds of print. You're going to want something that prints fast and also cuts them into 2x6 strips. That's the classic arcade style photo booth strips that people are used to seeing. The photo booth printer I use and recommend is the RX1 from DMP. It's a very popular one in all the photo booth groups. A lot of photo booth users and owners do use the DMP RX1. Right now, I believe I just saw a sale on the RX1 for about $495, which is super reasonable when you consider the features you're getting with it. The media, I believe, runs about $160 per box. You're going to want to pick up at least a box to start. This way you can print right when you get it home. Now, in a later video, we are going to get into getting started and setting everything up and actually configuring everything to print and be able to use it as a photo booth. But in order to do that, you're going to need some kind of print server. Unfortunately, Apple, because they like you buying Apple products, they want to keep it that way. So they make you use what they call AirPrint. That's their protocol for wireless printing from an Apple device. Now, unless you get a printer that is AirPrint compatible, you can't print directly from the iPad. So most iPad photo booths, you're going to have to use a print server to get to your professional photography printer. Now, this is pretty simple to do. The photo booth software I mentioned, Snappic, actually has their own print server that you could download on Mac or PC and open up and run, and you're ready to print. Some other photo booth softwares, say Simple Booth, you have to buy a print server such as Printopia or Oprint. I think there's one called HandyPrint. There's a lot of other softwares you can buy for like 20 bucks, and it basically creates a print server. What that allows you to do is print wirelessly from the iPad to that computer running the print server. Once the print gets to that computer, then it prints via USB to the professional photography printer. If you don't already have an extra computer laying around, whether it's an old HP, a MacBook, or something like that, you can go out and grab a cheap Windows computer. You're just going to want to check the specs on your print server and make sure that the computer you're buying matches that. I've seen some other people that will use some sort of tablet that has a USB slot that also meets those specs. That's super convenient because you can Velcro it to the back of the printer or hide it behind the printer or under the table or something like that. Personally, I use one of my MacBooks. I have two MacBooks that I run for DJing, TVs, and photo booth. So I like to use one of those. I found that they're super fast. However, I do have two Windows computers, just very basic, that just meet the requirements for the print server. Just in case my Macs are being used, I can open up one of those and they work fine. Now, with that said, that is about all you have to purchase to get up and running with your photo booth. However, there are many extras, actually debatably dozens of extras that you might want to purchase for your iPad photo booth that I did not mention above. However, they are not needed. I'm going to list some of them now so that you can be thinking about it. If you're thinking about getting into iPad photo booths and you kind of want to break down the costs and see how much it's actually going to cost you to get started, these might be some things you want to consider, and you might say, hey, I really want that if I get an iPad photo booth, or I really need that for my market if I get an iPad photo booth. Now, one thing being a printer stand. Now, the Mobi booth, like I mentioned, also has a matching printer stand. Might be something worth looking into. This is just a place to put your printer. You can then put it next to your iPad photo booth and give it a nice clean look rather than putting it off on a prop table or off on another table to the side. Again, that is not really a necessary add-on though. The next thing would be some props and a backdrop. Softwares like Snappic do offer digital props and filters, so in a way you don't even need props, but some people still want to offer those physical props. If you do go with physical props, of course the hats, the glasses, and the boas are always fun, but I do recommend getting some sort of signs. I would recommend going with the PVC signs from some place like Prop Shop Pros or Yo Props or something like that. They're high quality PVC props. They're going to last you dozens of events. I would stay away from the cheap $1 or dollar store props that you'll find on a stick with some paper on top. As I mentioned, you might also want a backdrop. I know a lot of people who run this booth as a social booth without a backdrop. Guests can just walk up and use the room as a backdrop. Some people like to offer a backdrop, so I went to Shuttercube. I bought a pipe and drape backdrop stand along with this cool glitter backdrop, but you can get regular pipe and drape as a backdrop or any color option that you'd like. Something else to consider is buying an extra iPad and buying an iPad kiosk stand. These can be found on Amazon in links below. Basically, they're going to hold your iPad or the secondary iPad and allow you to open up a sharing. Depending on what photo booth shell you go with, you might also need or want some extra photo booth lighting. If you go with something like the Mobi Booth ring light, you might not need any extra lighting because that is very bright. However, if you go with something more DIY or just the iPad on a tripod, you will need some additional lighting. So look into some video lighting and some other constant lighting. Something else to consider if you plan on offering texting and emailing is that not every venue will have Wi-Fi for you to connect to. So you might want to go out and purchase a mobile hotspot, which will allow you to connect the iPad or the iPads to that mobile hotspot, giving you internet access so your texts and emails send out right away to the guests. Lastly, the last extra that I could think of is the custom designs and templates. You might want to invest in something like photoboothtemplates.com. They have a VIP package. I believe it's about $200 for the year, and you get, I think it's 13 free or 14 free, maybe 15 free templates, something crazy like that. And then you get a discount on every additional template that you purchase. Just something to get started and something unique to offer your clients. So once again, guys, that is everything you will need to get started with a photo booth, along with some of those extras like I mentioned. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys found any of this helpful, please leave a thumbs up down below. It really means a lot. If you guys are new around here and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Also, turn on that bell so you get notified when I post new videos. If you guys have any questions about anything I said in this video, or you want to add some ideas or share some new products or products I didn't mention in this video, do so down in the comments below. Once again, guys, my name is Brandon Havrilla. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.